everyone, and welcome to the Week 15 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial plays of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start at Yankee Stadium, where the Philadelphia Union were 3-0 down at one point, but they started chipping away, including this penalty kick called for a foul by Jason Hernandez on Fabian Herbers. And I think it's a good call by referee Silvio Petrescu. Hernandez runs into the forward instead of playing the ball, and he gets a yellow for his troubles. Roland Alberg steps up to convert for Philly. But that yellow would be significant because Hernandez got a second one with 5 minutes left in the game. We don't get a clear view, but it looks like he takes down Sebastian Letou, who was sprinting to a long ball over the top. In the end, NYCFC held on to win 3-2, but seconds before the final whistle, I thought Philly should have had what would have been a potential equalizing PK when RJ Allen looks like he clips Alberg in the box. Petrescu is right there, and instead of pointing to the spot, he whistles the end of the match. Next, to Colorado, where it was 0-0 in the 56th minute when Chicago Fire rookie Jonathan Campbell makes a hash of this long throw in the box as the ball goes off his thigh and then his arm. But no PK is given, and I think that's a great decision by referee Juan Guzman. Yes, Campbell's arm starts out in a wide position, but it's tucked in when the ball caroms off it. He's not trying to make himself big, and there's no chance for him to react. Good no call. To Vancouver, where in the 38th minute there was some question whether there was an elbow thrown here by Vancouver's Jordan Harvey on Kai Kamara. Assistant referee Ian Anderson was right there, and he doesn't flag it, and referee Ismail Elfath doesn't call a foul. After watching the replay, I think Harvey was trying to jump in between the ball and Kamara, and he extends his arm slightly, but I don't think he's leading with the elbow. He's just bracing for a collision. So while I thought it was a foul, I'm fine with no cards coming out for that one. The other assistant, Jeff Hosking, had the best view of this incident involving Daigo Kobayashi and Vancouver's Russell Teibert, which led to the game winner for the visiting Revs. Teibert couldn't believe the goal was allowed to stand because he thought he was fouled by Kobayashi. But I'm with the refs here, and the real-time angle was the best one. Kobayashi beats Teibert to the ball, fair and square, and Teibert's the one who kicks Kobayashi's leg. Vancouver manager Carl Robinson wanted a handball called in the 65th minute on New England's London Woodbury, who was already sitting on a yellow, and I think he might have a point. Eric Hurtado was trying to get past the defender, but Woodbury redirects the ball with his arm from the ground. And you can see from the real-time footage that Elfath is giving the advantage signal, but that doesn't mean he couldn't have come back and given Woodbury a yellow, which would have been his second. 2 minutes later, the crowd was shouting for a Whitecaps penalty when from a distance it looks like Kellen Rowe goes through Hurtado's back to get to this ball in the box. No call from Elfath, who was in great position. No major issues in Toronto or Orlando, but an interesting situation in the 56th minute in Columbus, where it looked for a moment like referee Soren Stoica whistled for a handball committed in the impact wall on this free kick. And replay showed the ball did in fact come off Didier Drogba's hand, but in my opinion he has no time to react and the arm is not in an unnatural position. And it turns out Stoica was calling for encroachment by Drogba, not the handball, and the kick is ultimately retaken. Noah Garcia used hashtag Instant Replay on Twitter to alert us to an incident in the 9th minute in Houston that he thought deserved a red card, as DC's Nick DeLeon goes in hard on Oscar Bonia Garcia. Yes, it looks bad, but I feel that referee Alan Chapman got it right. DeLeon lunges in, but his studs are not showing and the legs aren't straight. It's reckless, but it doesn't necessarily endanger the safety. We also heard from Adrian on Twitter about this tackle by Portland's Ben Zemanski on Real Salt Lake's Sunday Steven in the 33rd minute. He gets a yellow from referee Alan Kelly, but I thought Zemanski's two-footed studs-up challenge here deserved a straight red for endangering the safety of his opponent. To Red Bull Arena, where New York's Lloyd Sam was complaining of an elbow by Seattle's Ozzie Alonso in the 3rd minute, and when we look at the replay, it's more of a flailing arm than a cocked elbow in my opinion, as they battled for this ball in the air. Alonso does wind up getting yellow from referee Chris Benso, along with New York's Felipe, but it has more to do with their jawing at one another and not for anything involving Sam. And we end in Kansas City and the play everyone is talking about. The ball that replays show crossed the goal line in the 16th minute. There's no disputing the errant back pass does cross the line in its entirety, and FC Dallas should have been up 1-0. But if you look at it from a referee perspective, based on how this play developed, there was no way the assistant Sean Hurd was getting back in time to spot it, despite going into a full-on sprint. You can see here he was at least 6 yards from the goal line, so he didn't have the right angle. And as for referee Jorge Gonzalez, he was near the midfield circle. Then just moments later, Dallas winger Fabian Castillo was whistled for an offside that isn't immediately evident on the freeze frame. When teammate Michael Barrios fires his shot right here, it looks like Castillo is even with the goalkeeper. But the referee's whistle went off just before Castillo's shot finished in the back of the net. Dallas will also feel hard done by in the 24th minute when Tesho Akindele went down in the box, and it looked like Jimmy Medranda's right arm does appear to tug back on Akindele. But it also happens outside the box, so I don't think that we're looking at a penalty kick, but perhaps a red card for denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Sporting KC fans also had a PK claim in the 41st minute, and unlike the Jonathan Campbell play in Colorado, here it does look like Dallas defender Walker Zimmerman has the right arm extended way out when the ball strikes it. The home team would eventually get their penalty in first half stoppage time as Benny Feilhaber takes a tumble in the box. But when we look at the various angles, it's tough to spot obvious contact unless Atiba Harris's foot grazes Feilhaber's shin. Regardless, Feilhaber himself slots it home, and it was 2-0 SKC before the break, and that's how it would finish. And we end with a lighthearted moment from Rio Tinto Stadium, and it comes courtesy of Portland's Lucas Melano. RSL's Chris Wingert gives him a little shove in the back after taking offense to getting tripped up by the Argentine. And Wingert's nudge into Melano's back sends the Timbers forward flying into a somersault. It's better on the third and fourth time around, so we'll give it to you on a loop while we remind you to use hashtag Instant Replay on Twitter to alert us to any plays you think should make it on the show. That's all we have for this week. For our editor, Will Walsh, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time!